So there's many legs to this journey with JJ's. And a lot of my early adopters in the JJ world that are still with me and are probably still doing it because they have so many predispositions. Well, you know you're going to have to get through a lot of predispositions. So someone sent me a testimony on their journey, and they've gone through some pretty aggressive stuff, releasing a lot of mucus, dealing with their vital organs, going through the energy conversion, the massive amount of pain in different areas of the body and all that. And I'll tell you, you know, when you have to pay back retroactive payments because we used so many cures, whether in our childhood or we took on our parents' predispositions, that's only half the battle, okay? The other half the battle is to now understand the world that you live in. And everyone is dropping new and different viruses everywhere because they're converting all the different viruses from their therapeutics. You see, we live in a society where people don't want to feel pain. And so when they're taking their oncology, their pills, their powders, their detoxes, their antibiotics, their supplements, they're constantly converting viruses. And some are really mild that you will just like sneeze or cough and that's about it. Others will develop and convert into a pandemic. And that could be a pharmaceutical grade type of pandemic. Or it could be something that is incubating in different parts of the world that finally made its way over to the other side of the world. You'll never know where these pandemics originate from. And you can speculate, we all have, but understand this, dealing with your retroactive payments to Mother Nature is only half the battle. The other half now is to deal with every single virus that comes through. Now, before the COVID-19, it wasn't that bad, but then I also was more cured than not because I was doing so much of the J-juice. Maybe got off a few times, but then when I felt something, I would do a few shots and then I wouldn't feel anything. Though I couldn't get away with doing that now because the environment is so aggressive that every shot I take would then suppress my appetite. I would lose a lot more weight. Yes, it could be a good thing for someone obese, but since I don't have that much to me, then I would lose substance and then be subject to a heart attack or a stroke and not survive it. And so that's the thing, is that now in this environment, you have to feel the viruses. You have to blow your nose. You're going to feel the hunger. I mean, just within the last year, I had maybe a few headaches from the new COVID and then all the variants. I had the hives. I had the underarm rashes, the lymph nodes opening up. What else? Just extreme amounts of mucus coming out, coughing, being tired, sleeping, fatigue. I mean, this is not going to be the end. So I'm saying we are now in a very aggressive simulation. And some people don't want to deal with having to deal with not only the retroactive, but then also deal with the current stuff. And so they're just like, you know what, screw it. I'm just going to do the J juice, or I'm just going to be cured and not do anything to change the biochemistry. And so there are some people that can do that and will live out their natural life with their lifespan, but they will age progressively, and they will age faster because these viruses they're taking in are doing a type of Pac-Man. They're aging the person, okay? But now, you know, and so, yeah, we are in a huge transition. And so what is healing and sealing? It means that, yeah, you healed and dealt with your predispositions from your ancestors and from your own your own mistakes for taking all the antibiotics every single time you felt something in your childhood as well as your adulthood. But yes, you're gonna reconcile with all of your chronic conditions, but you're not gonna never feel something ever again. Now, will I feel a headache? I doubt it. See, the reason why you feel headaches and you feel all the chronic conditions and the aggressive energy, it's because it's retroactive payback. So the only thing that I feel now in this environment is blowing my nose, coughing out the mucus. I'll feel maybe a few hot flashes every so often. I felt one today, and I might have to eat like a bunch of spaghetti and take a nap. And your life has to be designed to be able to do that. You have to have the freedom to take care of yourself, to sleep. That's the other side of paying Mother Nature, is to allow yourself to rest, not keep going and going and going and taking all the different therapies and the different energy drinks so you can stay in the game. Okay, because then you're taking more substance away and you're not giving back, and so you'll be at a deficit again. So you don't want to keep redoing the cycle, because then the payback will be far more aggressive when we have now all these new viruses and the monkeypox and everything else. Okay? And so you cannot allow yourself to get that bad again. But if people want to play the same game before 2019, before they knew about this, before jelly juice, and they become cured, and they hold back the pain mints, they don't want to be mucusy, they don't want to be tired, they don't want to have any change in their stride, then at some point, Mother Nature, the devil's going to take their due. And you don't want to go down that road again, okay? And so now more than ever, you have to reconcile with the new viruses, even after you have reconciled with the old viruses. Now there's new ones. Until 7.9 billion people get recycled back to then only being around 500 million people. And that will be less energy, less consumption, less issues in our society. But during that time between 7.9 billion people and 500 million as the outcome, you're going to be mutating viruses and processing those viruses through your body on a daily basis relative to your lifestyle. And if you're a public person and you're always out there, you'll be taking on so many different viruses that you will have to deal with. And it becomes so tiresome that then people do take the therapies. And they do take on all the shortcuts. And it will shorten their life. And so then you're forced to then figure out, okay, do I want to shorten my life and go out with a bang and have fun? Or do you want to be like, okay, there's different kinds of fun. I enjoy watching my Netflix. I enjoy trying to make my brain work in a different way. I enjoy taking care of my dog. I enjoy eating these pretty cool looking, tomatoes. I've changed how I looked at fun. Fun isn't always necessarily having to be out there doing something with somebody. Fun is also figuring out that the world is changing, and how are you going to survive the changes. If you could even open your mind to see that you can change the way you look at fun. But again, if you're around people who are constantly out there, who are not doing the J juice, who don't see themselves sticking around for the new simulation, then they're going to pressure you into giving up your way of doing this, and they're going to pressure you into going back into the world that you came from, that caused you to be the way that you were before the J juice, and then that's going to work against you. Because you don't know when an aggressive variant, and if you're doing J juice and you're so cured, you might think that you healed stuff. See, that's the misconception, because you don't feel stuff. The only way you're going to know that you actually healed and sealed is once you're off the J juice and you're dealing with all the viruses that you've ever been exposed to. When you're going out there in the public, not wearing a mask, and you're able to handle all the symptoms without turning to J juice. And then when you're out again and you're around the same people with different viruses mutating again, and you get exposed and you don't have the aggressive symptoms. I don't have the headache anymore, and I've been exposed to so many different viruses. I don't cough. I cough pretty hard when I have to, but it wasn't like what it was like a year ago. I don't get the hives. I got the hives aggressively this last winter, and then another variant came through. It kind of brought them up a little bit more, or a little bit less, and then a little bit less, and then a little bit less. So it came on slowly. It peaked, my hives, and then it left slowly, and then no more hives. But that's the thing. I'm not doing J juice, so I'm not cured. So how are you going to know that you actually healed and sealed? When you're off the J juice and you can handle all the viruses. And that's why it's the eventual saltwater flush. It's not going to be doing J juice quarterly and doing the waterfalls quarterly for like a week or so. No, it's not. No, 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 no. You only do an annual purification because you still want to upgrade to everyone around you and take on the viruses. And then once a year as a purification, so you're not taking on a lot more innovation than your body can handle, you're then releasing the demons, and then you're setting the programming that will still evolve, but it's not going to turn into retroactive evolution, causing you to have cancer, disease, and chronic illness. Because you have trained your diaphragm to cough stuff out. You have figured out your sphincter so you can release the demons that way. And you figured out that you have to eat all food in the food supply, whatever is available, even if it's lab-grown meat, because you know that's coming in the future. And so you're going to have to transition and adapt to the new everything. And there's going to be a million recalls. You're going to see it already, the Skittles, the peanut butter, cheese, different meats. And that's the WHO going like, oh God, everything has to be antibiotics. So if we find anything that looks like it has more bacteria in it than is acceptable, based upon how sensitive the population is, they're going to recall everything. I just say add some fucking salt to it. Don't waste the food. But you know how people are when they are on low sodium diets with all the different symptoms of issues that their doctor's like, oh, don't take too much salt. You can't have too much salt. So what do? They're going to waste the food. They're going to throw away the cheese. They're going to throw away the meat. They're going to throw away the peanut butter. I've seen it. Because people are so scared, so immunocompromised, and they're going to be starving. They'll be afraid to eat everything. Oh well, what are you going to do? More for us. Bye.